Hey there. I've been running Ubiquiti's Unifi Network Controller for over 10 years. Originally I was running it on a Windows computer, and then I moved to a Raspberry Pi, and then I moved to a Raspberry Pi via Docker, and now I've migrated that to my current Synology network storage using Docker Compose. So in this video, I'm going to be going over my 2023 Unifi Network Controller setup and how I maintain it. Let's get into it. I've been using this Linux server.io Docker image and its various iterations, and it is quite timely that I'm doing this video because a bit further down here, there's a message that this is getting deprecated and they're separating it to a new database container. So you basically need to have two different things in the container. So this is incredibly similar to what my current Docker Compose looks like, which I have here. So this is my current Docker Compose file that I'm running my Unifi controller with. It's been working quite well. I'm using this on a Synology RS1221 Plus NAS, and I had some memory problems over the years, so I did take this optional parameter out, and it's been working pretty bulletproof. So it was serendipitous that I did this video and now see that I need to do this upgrade. I briefly looked into it and it doesn't seem that hard. I might make a separate video about performing that upgrade and the steps and potential hangups, because this is part of the fun of maintaining this stuff yourself, in that you will have some challenges along the way. And I like to leave myself lots of breadcrumbs in my Obsidian notebooks, so I can, quickly be like, all right, what was the last time I had problems with this? And then what did I do? And then you can go forward and kind of make this as frictionless as possible. So here's this. You can kind of see hub.docker.com. So you got Linux server, Unifi controller. It's been working very well. This is what it looks like. So this is the web interface to it. And you can see this is kind of at a glance. So if you're running this with a Dream Machine, so the Unifi router, you'd see, so this is like my main rack switch, and then you can see all the different machines. So you can see you got 2 access points now and all these different machines. I have 2 different wireless networks running, and I'll show you those here in a second. So this is what the interface looks like to keep the switches and the access points updated. This works very well as long as you can get your settings set up properly so that it can cache these updates and perform them overnight. So here's what the Wi-Fi looks like. And again, if you're running Ubiquiti routing hardware, so a Dream Machine or a security gateway, you would be able to have a lot more things to configure here. I'm running an OpenSense router on a standalone computer for my routing, so this doesn't have all the information that you would have if you went with the Ubiquiti router. And in here you can see, again, there would be a lot more information if you're running a security gateway. Because I'm using a separate router, there's a bit of information that's not really in here. So here's going to be where I'll be needing to export this site. I'll have to figure out exactly how this works for that update that I mentioned when I first cut to the screencast here. And you can kind of see what this all looks like. So there's quite a few pages in here. This is probably one of the things on this page that I've used the most. This is very helpful. So when I switched from my Raspberry Pi to my Synology NAS, I needed to go and change this inform host, which essentially tells all of your Unifi devices to look for a new controller at a new address. So you take a backup, you change this inform host to the new host and IP address, and then you go spin up the new host, pull the backup in, and everything should transfer over. And if it doesn't, it can always be recovered. It just might have to be a little bit of hands-on to go and individually talk to all the different devices you have connected. So you can see health and experience in here. I will have blurred out the addresses and the names, but you can see that, a lot of these things have been running for months. So that's been quite nice. This is one of the most informational tabs that I really like. It shows you all sorts of things in terms of latency, as well as, are you getting to the internet? Like I said, so we got a non-Unifi gateway here. So my other router is doing DHCP. So there's been no issues. Everything's 100%, happy days. And then in here, you can see this is very helpful if you're having channel stacking problems. So again, I'll have blurred out the Wi-Fi names, but you can see there's not a huge amount of, whoa, that was a bit exciting. I haven't had any problems and there haven't been any issues. So this is something where this is kind of completely automated. I haven't had to deal with this. And it all happens in the background automatically. So if you have some devices that are over on this tail end on the left with bad signal strength, you could consider moving them or moving your access points or changing the orientation of your access points, depending on which access point you have, because it's not like a perfect circle in terms of its broadcast. You'd have to go look at the documentation to see where the signal is strongest from the access point. And changing the orientation from sitting on the desk to sitting on the wall could make a huge impact. And this is something that works quite well to show you if you're having the impact that you expect. So this interface has gotten much better than it was a few years ago. And setting it up was literally as simple as going on this Linux server.io, finding this Docker Compose file a bit further down, chucking it onto my network storage, setting up the path, and then pulling the Docker with Docker Compose. And here it is. It's been working well for months. Looks like I have a little bit of hands-on to do to it. I'll probably make a follow-up video to this of migrating from this version to the discrete Mongo database, separate database version. And we'll see you at the next one.